I'm a data scientist, and I'm going to teach you how you can be one too. My name is Ash, and I work for this company right here. Psych, I'm never going to give you guys the company. I actually love the company and I love the people I work with, so I don't want to break any policies and get my ass fired. So probably not going to tell you the company's name, but I can teach you how I did it and how I became a data scientist. Let me hit you guys with some facts. According to IBM, data science jobs are going to go up by 28% in 2020. In the current world today, 90% of today's world's data was collected in approximately the past 2 years. So there's a lot of data in just 2 years. So imagine in the next decade how much data is going to be available for all of us. So there is going to be a need for a data scientist. So I can see why you guys want to be a data scientist. In today's world, there's a lot of talk about machine learning, artificial intelligence, neural networks, data science, this and that. But I want to give you guys a clear definition of what data science is. In essence, data science is just the study of data. It involves collecting data, storing it, transforming it, manipulating it, loading it somewhere else, basically gaining insights and information from the data you've collected. And that can be any kind of data, and that's all data science is. Now the confusion comes when people start talking about machine learning. Let me tell you what machine learning is. Machine learning is a group of techniques, algorithms. When does data science and machine learning overlap? Is after a data scientist has done his analytical part and actually given insights to the company based on the data. This is where the company goes into a little bit more advanced stuff, such as making predictive models, forecasting models, etc. Now a data scientist will take all the data and he will want to make a computer learn from the data, right? That's where machine learning techniques are used, because machine learning techniques allows the computer to actually learn from the data. And since we have actually collected insights from the data, manipulated it, actually got it in the format that we want, now we can use a technique in machine learning such as random forest, etc., and make a predictive model. So now you're going to be able to predict the future to obviously a certain percentage of accuracy, but you're going to use machine learning to do that, right? So that's what data science is, and that's where data science and machine learning actually overlap, and both the techniques are used together. Since you guys know what data science is, now I'm going to tell you guys how to actually become a data scientist. What is the path to becoming a data scientist? For that, you guys need to understand the ideal candidate for a data scientist. This is just what current recruiters are looking for in a data scientist. But does that mean that you have to have this particular candidate profile? The answer is no. You don't have to have this exact candidate profile. I'm going to tell you why. But it's good to know what recruiters are looking for, because if you're in a stage today where you have the opportunity to pick your major, or you're still deciding on which master's program to go into, this will be a good guideline for you in case you want to be a data scientist. The ideal candidate for a data scientist is an individual with a computer science or engineering undergraduate degree, or it could be mathematics or statistics as well. That's number one. Number two is that this individual also has an advanced degree in such as a master's or a doctorate in fields of study such as engineering, in particular computer engineering or data science engineering or computer science or mathematics or statistics, right? This particular candidate is going to be the most suited candidate for a data scientist position. Why is this individual more suited than others? The reason why this profile is considered to be more suited than other profiles is because the recruiter will look at this individual and the recruiter will already have a very good idea on what this individual will know. This particular individual knows the 5 following technical skills that is crucial for a data scientist. Whether you are an ideal candidate or not, skill number 1 is SQL or SQL. However you dissect it or look at it, you're always going to need SQL in some way, shape, or form when you join the company, because how the infrastructure is built, there's going to be transactional databases in your company, for example SQL Server, and you're going to have to communicate with this database to actually extract that information. And one of the only ways to communicate with the database and extract the information is by using some form of SQL. But the good news is SQL is very easy to learn. They have multiple resources online which can actually teach an individual SQL from start to finish, and you can learn any kind of SQL. You can learn different dialects of SQL. For example, for SQL Server you would have T-SQL. For Oracle you could learn PLSQL. So all these things are already available online and it's very easy to learn. Worst case, if you don't know any of the 5 skills that I'm going to talk about, I do it on a regular basis, so just ask me and I will make a personal playlist for you guys. Skill number 2 is transforming and manipulating your data. Now the tools here is what is important. R and Python are very commonly used tools to actually do a lot of manipulations. You could also use SQL itself. So I've seen a lot of people use SQL alone just to transform and manipulate their data. Depending on how complex your transformation and manipulations are, it could be easier in SQL or harder in SQL. SQL usually doesn't end up supporting data structures like hash maps or arrays, which make it extremely easy for manipulating data, but you can still do it in SQL. You could also learn a programming language. Let's go on to the third point, which is visualizations. There are a lot of tools you can use for visualizations. 2 of the tools are R and Python. There are many different libraries such as ggplot for R and Python that allows you to make graphs and visualize it, and it gives you the flexibility of doing it with any parameters the way you want it. But if you don't want to use a particular programming language and you want to do it quickly, you could also know something like Tableau, D3, or even Power BI. These tools are very useful to visualize your data based on certain parameters very quickly, so you could also know those for visualizations. So number 4 is databases. As a computer science undergraduate student, I know that a lot of computer science students aren't exposed to databases or SQL unless they take electives specifically meant for those particular topics. So if you're one of those people who don't know about databases, you have to learn about databases. It'll be a very useful advantage for you. A lot of companies do have databases and they have database administrators or data engineers to deal with these things, but you will be a step forward if you know about databases. For example, how they're structured, what is the protocol for pulling information from the database correctly, how schemas are set up, etc. Number 5, the final thing that I want to tell you about is programming languages. Now, throughout this list, we've already spoken about R and Python, so you can see how useful it is in all these different technical aspects. But when you get on to more complex tasks such as making prediction models or forecasting models, R and Python is a necessity. You have to know it, you have to know how to use it, right? And that is something that you can't get around. I will still put links in the descriptions below to teach you both. Please go ahead and watch those tutorials if you have the time. If any of you guys find it hard to learn any of these technical skills, just shoot me a DM or let me know in the comments below, because I do this on a regular basis, so I can teach you guys everything about these technical skills that you need to know as a data scientist. I won't beat around the bush or make it unnecessarily long. Just let me know and I will put together a playlist for each of them. We need to get onto the 3 non-technical skills or traits that you need to develop. Skill number 1 is being independent and proactive about your work. So you guys just saw how many technical skills that I've talked about, right? So in a normal data scientist workflow, there are a lot of tools and skills he will need to use to actually get his job done, because he goes from SQL to something for manipulation and transformation such as R and Python, and then he has to go visualize it, and then he has to go make models maybe. Now, if all of these things are something that you're doing, there's a lot of place where you can trip and make mistakes. Making mistakes is completely fine, don't get me wrong, but being proactive about it and jotting down the mistakes you make so that you don't make it in the future, or keeping that in mind, being conscious of it, being independent of your work, those kind of things are crucial things you have to learn when you become a data scientist. Point number 2 is communication. A lot of people don't talk about this, but this is probably one of the most important skills that you have to have. Not too long ago, I was in college and I was doing my master's in data science, and we had to give presentations. One thing that I never actually took into account was when I was giving those presentations, everyone around me were other data science students or the professors themselves. All of these people know the lingo. They know exactly what I'm talking about, but when you go into a crowd where their skill set is in a completely different field and they're experts in something completely different, it is much more difficult to put your idea across. So communication is something that is extremely important to do that. Someone I look up to, my boss, he actually always tells me have framework. And having a framework when you actually communicate your ideas can be extremely helpful to do that. How am I going to start the conversation? How am I going to actually prove my point? And what is my conclusion from it? But learning how to do that will take time. It doesn't come on the first go. So non-technical skill number 3 is liking a challenge. You have to learn to make yourself like a challenge situation because you're going to face it a lot. As a data scientist, you will be put in situations where you're working with multiple departments, cross-functional teams. They expect you to find useful information from the data that they're giving you. And they expect you to ask the right questions and know what you're working with, right? To be in that situation could end up being stressful a lot of the times, and it's challenging. So you need to know how to like a challenge and actually go forth with the whole project in a positive manner. But that's point number 3, and that's all. So I just named 5 technical skills and 3 non-technical skills. The other 2 things that I'm going to talk about now is going to be an internship. Try your best to get an internship while you have the opportunity to do so, because internship gives you the opportunity to take time and adapt to the professional environment, take time and understand what the company's trying to do, what do they produce, what is their product, what is the data they're collecting, so that you have enough time to understand what to actually look for. And then you also have more time to actually show the company where your skills are and what you can provide to the company in the future. It's a good way to start. If you don't have an internship, it's all well and good, man. You don't have to get it. If you've lost your chances to get an internship, it's not the end of the world. You could be proactive about building up your skills to complement your data science profile. You can build up these skills by going and talking to professors to get research opportunities or teaching assistant opportunities. The last thing I want to talk to you guys about is your job fairs that your school provides, or career fairs in general. You can pay to get into career fairs, and a lot of people in career fairs and job fairs actually provide opportunity for employment. I know there are a lot of y'all out there who've gone to many different job fairs and career fairs from school or outside and had no luck, because you guys go from booth to booth and someone just gives you a pamphlet or brochure and brushes you off. But if you have any more opportunities to actually go to these career fairs, please take it. Even if it's your last one, man. The last one could be the best one, you don't know. That's it. I really wanted to talk about the framework of a data scientist and what a data scientist does from start to finish, but we're running out of time in this video. So in the next video, I'm going to tell you guys what I do on a day-to-day basis as a data scientist. Okay, so I really hope you guys liked this video. If you guys did, please leave a like, subscribe, and share.